The sky above Earth burned with a strange, cold light. In the darkness of space, an enormous fleet appeared without warning. The ships were unlike anything humans had ever seen, massive, black, and silent. They hung in orbit like shadows, blocking the stars. People on the ground stopped what they were doing. Phones rang endlessly, emergency alarms blared, and panic spread like wildfire. Earth's defense forces scrambled. Fighter jets raced into the skies, missiles launched from orbital platforms, and satellite lasers tried to target the fleet. But every weapon seemed useless. The alien ships did not move like human vessels. Their shields absorbed every attack, their weapons fired with terrifying precision, and their sheer size made them untouchable. On every screen, the same chilling message appeared. The fleet had arrived and humanity was not ready. At the center of this fleet was a figure known only in whispers across human intelligence reports, Admiral Xyler. He was a towering alien, with eyes that glowed like molten metal and armor that shimmered with unknown energy. Xyler watched humanity with amusement. He spoke to his officers in a cold, commanding voice, mocking the humans as weak, primitive creatures. "They think they can fight us," he said. "Pathetic. They do not even understand the game they are in." On Earth, fear was everywhere. Governments called emergency meetings, families huddled in shelters, and people whispered prayers into the empty night. Some believed this was the end. Humanity had faced wars, disasters, and pandemics, but never a force like this. For the first time, people truly feared extinction. Amid the chaos, one human mind remained calm, Captain Eric Vale. A young but brilliant tactician, Eric had earned respect for his quick thinking and understanding of advanced technology. Unlike most, he did not panic. Instead, he stared at the alien fleet through the sensors in Earth's main orbital command station. Something caught his attention. "Commander," said Lieutenant Rhea, his assistant, "look at the readings. Every ship is shielded perfectly. Weapons are beyond our capability. What can we even do?" Eric's eyes did not leave the screens. "Not everything is as it seems," he said quietly. "See that energy pattern around the flagship?" He pointed at a strange ripple in the readings surrounding Xyler's main ship. "It's unusual. Too perfect, almost like it's hiding a weakness." Rhea frowned. "A weakness? Against a fleet that size?" "Yes," Eric replied, his voice firm. "I think the Admiral is overconfident. They do not expect us to notice this." As Eric analyzed the patterns, suspense built. The alien fleet loomed like a mountain in space, calm yet deadly. Humans on the surface could not see what Eric saw, but the tension was palpable. Each moment that passed without a human response felt like an eternity. Meanwhile, Xyler's arrogance grew. He broadcast a message to Earth, his voice booming across communication systems. "Humans," he said, "your weapons are meaningless. Your technology is primitive. Surrender now and perhaps we will spare your species. Resist and you will be erased." The world watched, terrified, as the alien admiral's words filled every home, every office, every command center. Many leaders began to prepare for surrender. Fear gripped hearts across the planet. But Eric refused to give in. He knew humans had survived countless impossible odds before. And now, perhaps, this was another chance to prove their strength. He moved quickly, issuing silent commands to the technicians and soldiers around him. His fingers flew across consoles, sending encrypted signals, scanning energy patterns, and analyzing alien technology. Finally, after long moments of tense calculations, Eric made a decision. He turned to Rhea. "We have one chance," he said. "A secret signal. It will not solve the battle, but it will give us an edge. Something they will never see coming." Rhea hesitated. "You mean, we send it now?" "Yes," Eric said. "Before they realize we are watching. Before they strike. Trust me." As the signal left Earth's main station, a strange energy ripple spread across space. Even the alien fleet paused for a brief moment, sensing something they could not explain. Suspense gripped the command room. Everyone waited. No one knew what would happen next. And then, silence. The entire planet held its breath. Something had begun, something no one could yet see. The war had started, not with a full attack but with a quiet, dangerous move. And somewhere, far above the Earth, Admiral Xyler's eyes narrowed as he noticed a change in the energy patterns around his flagship. He had made a mistake. And humans were ready to take advantage of it. The world still trembled from the sudden arrival of the alien fleet. Panic remained in every city, every control room, and every home. But in the hidden corridors of Earth's main space command, Captain Eric Vale worked with sharp focus. His mind raced, analyzing the strange energy patterns he had detected around Admiral Zyler's flagship. The fleet above was silent, like a predator waiting to strike. And Eric knew they could not rely on brute force. Human weapons had already proven useless against Zyler's ships. The only chance lay in understanding the enemy, and finding a weakness that the aliens had never expected humans to see. "Commander," Lieutenant Rhea said, pointing at a holographic display, "our satellites confirm that the alien shields are regenerative. They repair faster than we can damage. Even a direct strike won't hold them back." Eric nodded slowly. "Yes, but there's something else. Look here." He zoomed in on the readings from Zyler's flagship. A subtle energy flicker pulsed around the ship's core. "It's a signature pattern. Not random. They're hiding something, or overestimating their strength." Rhea's eyes widened. "You think it's a flaw?" Eric's lips tightened. "I'm certain of it. And if we exploit it carefully, we might just turn the odds in our favor." Meanwhile, Admiral Zyler watched Earth from the bridge of his flagship. His expression was one of cold amusement. "They think they can resist us?" he said, his voice echoing across the command deck. "Pathetic. Prepare the scouts. Show them the true power of our fleet." Zyler was arrogant, confident that humans were too primitive to understand the complexity of his technology. Every move he made assumed that humans would panic, surrender, or die without resistance. But he did not see Eric Vale watching, analyzing, planning. On Earth, scientists scrambled to understand alien technology. Dr. Mira Solon, one of the leading physicists, studied data transmitted by orbiting satellites. "These energy patterns," she said to Eric, "are unlike anything we've ever recorded. They're intelligent, almost alive. It's as if the ships communicate with each other in real time." Eric's mind raced. "Exactly. That's what I noticed in the flagship. But notice the lag in communication between smaller ships. They rely on the flagship's command for coordination. If we interfere with that, we can create confusion." Rhea leaned forward. "Interference is risky. If we fail, they'll notice immediately and retaliate with full force." Eric's eyes were steady. "Every battle is risky. But right now humans don't have a choice. If we do nothing, we die." As they worked, secret operations began. Small human ships, hidden in the shadows of Earth's orbit, moved closer to the alien fleet. They did not attack yet. Their purpose was reconnaissance, collecting data, mapping shield patterns, and discovering weak points. The tension in the command room was unbearable. Every second brought the possibility of destruction. On the surface of the Earth, people could only watch the sky, terrified and helpless. Yet, in the hidden corners of the command center, a sense of purpose drove Eric and his team. They were humanity's last hope. Hours passed. Then a breakthrough. "Commander," Dr. Solon exclaimed, "we've detected something unusual inside the flagship. It's a power core, but it operates differently from the rest of the fleet. Its energy pulses are slower, almost unstable." Eric's heart raced. "Exactly what I suspected. That's the weakness. If we can trigger a disruption in that core, it could disable the entire fleet temporarily." Rhea's face was pale. "Temporarily, or permanently?" Eric didn't answer immediately. His eyes were fixed on the holographic display. "We have one chance to do it quietly. If we fail, Zyler will detect our interference and destroy us before we can react. But if we succeed," he allowed a small smile, "we may just survive." Meanwhile, the aliens began their first minor attacks. Scout ships descended toward Earth's orbit, testing human defenses. Missiles fired from Earth's satellites, but the alien ships easily dodged and retaliated with laser strikes that destroyed several orbiting platforms. Panic escalated. On Earth, news reports broadcast chaos, and cities went into emergency lockdown. But Eric remained calm. He had anticipated this. "Let them probe," he told Rhea. "Every move they make gives us data. Every attack reveals their patterns." They began their countermeasures. Small human teams boarded stealth craft, moving undetected among the alien fleet. The goal was to plant disruption devices that could interfere with the flagship's energy core. The tension was unbearable. One wrong move, one detection by the alien sensors, and it would be the end. Hours turned into a tense night. Alarms sounded constantly as alien ships patrolled the outer orbits. But the human teams moved with precision, using intelligence, skill, and courage. Even as some ships were destroyed, others completed their mission. Each success brought a tiny spark of hope. Back on the flagship, Zyler grew suspicious. "Something is wrong," he said, frowning at his console. "The humans, they are not acting like prey. They are thinking. Alert all sectors. Search for anomalies. But it was too late. Eric had anticipated Xyler's movements. Using the secret signal he sent earlier, the humans disrupted the communication between smaller alien ships. Confusion spread quickly. Lasers misfired, shields flickered, and the fleet became chaotic. The aliens had never faced a human mind capable of predicting their every move. Eric watched the chaos unfold on his screens. "It's working," he whispered. "They underestimate us, and that is their greatest mistake." Ria's voice trembled. "The flagship core, it's unstable. We can see it through the sensors." Eric nodded. "Good. Now we wait for the right moment to strike. Patience is everything. One wrong signal and it's over. But one right move and we change everything." As night fell on Earth, the planet remained in fear. People slept uneasily, unaware of the invisible battle raging above. In orbit, human pilots and scientists worked tirelessly, shadows against the alien menace. Every second brought suspense, every signal held danger, every decision could mean survival or annihilation. And far above, Admiral Xyler's arrogance blinded him to the fact that humanity was not as weak as he had assumed. A storm of intelligence, courage, and strategy was forming. One that could turn the tide of the war in ways he never imagined. The stage was set. The shadows of Earth's secret efforts stretched across space, waiting for the moment to strike. And when that moment came, no one, not even the mighty Xyler, would be ready for what humans were about to unleash. The silence of space was broken by faint bursts of energy from hidden human ships. The aliens above Earth had not yet realized that the humans were no longer passive. Captain Eric Vale watched the screens in Earth's orbital command station, his eyes sharp and focused. Every movement of the human fleet was calculated, precise, and dangerous to the unsuspecting alien scouts. "This is it," Eric said to Lieutenant Rhea. "The moment we've been preparing for. The first strike." Rhea nodded, her hands trembling slightly. "Are we ready for this, Commander? The flagship, if they detect us." Eric cut her off. "We don't have a choice. Either we fight smart or we die. Remember, we're not just attacking. We're teaching them a lesson. We're showing them humans are not weak." Above Earth, Admiral Xyler paced on his flagship. He had noticed minor disruptions in his fleet over the past hours, small misfires, miscommunications, and shield fluctuations. "Pathetic humans," he muttered. "They are scrambling, but they cannot understand our power. Prepare the fleet for a full scan. We will destroy them before they realize their mistakes." But Xyler's arrogance blinded him to one thing: humans were not acting blindly. Eric had studied the aliens' behavior, their reliance on the flagship's core, and the small gaps in their coordination. Using stealth ships and precise timing, humans planned to strike the fleet's vulnerable points first, then move fast to evade counterattacks. The first wave of human ships approached the outer perimeter of the alien fleet. Their engines were quiet, cloaked in shadows, while their sensors scanned every ship. They carried no heavy weapons. Those were unnecessary for the initial strike. Their goal was intelligence and disruption. Inside the alien fleet, small energy readings flickered. Alien pilots looked confused. Lasers misfired, and some ships collided with one another. Xyler's frown deepened. "They are interfering with our systems," he roared. "Find them. Destroy them." But the humans were too clever. Eric's teams had predicted these reactions. Every move by the aliens was anticipated. Every patrol path, every communication pulse, every response to an attack had been mapped. The humans were not stronger in weapons, they were smarter in strategy. A human stealth ship slipped close to a small alien cruiser. Inside, Lieutenant Rhea and her crew prepared a disruption device designed to scramble the cruiser's shields and communication. "This is it," Rhea whispered. "Once we deploy, they won't know what hit them." The device activated. The cruiser's shields flickered, then failed. Its weapons misfired, and it drifted helplessly for a few seconds before the humans retreated. Even this small victory sent waves of panic across the alien fleet. "Commander," Rhea said, excitement in her voice, "it's working. The smaller ships are confused. Their formations are breaking." Eric's lips tightened in a small smile. "Good. That is exactly what we needed. Now we wait for the flagship to react." Xyler's fury could be felt across space. His officers reported anomalies in communication and navigation across the fleet. "The humans are cunning," one officer admitted, trembling. "They are lucky," Xyler hissed. "Luck will not save them for long." But humans were prepared for this chaos. Eric had anticipated that Xyler would become overconfident, believing that the small disruptions were minor. The aliens had no idea that this was only the beginning. The second wave of human ships moved closer to the core of the fleet. They carried precise energy pulses designed to probe the flagship's defenses. Every move was calculated to test the alien flagship's reaction. "Captain," Rhea said, pointing at the holographic display, "we're detecting fluctuations in the flagship's energy core. It's unstable. The disruptions we created are affecting it." Eric leaned forward. Yes, keep it up. Every pulse weakens their control, but carefully. We cannot push it too far or they will notice us immediately." Time slowed in the command station as humans moved with surgical precision. Each ship acted like a shadow, invisible but deadly, striking just enough to confuse and destabilize the alien fleet. On Earth, people looked up at the night sky, unaware of the battle unfolding above. Emergency broadcasts warned of strange signals and unusual satellite activity, but most citizens were too terrified to even notice. Only the people in command centers knew that humanity had taken its first stand. The tension in orbit was unbearable. One wrong move could expose the human ships. One detection could mean annihilation. But every success, every small disruption, proved that humans were not weak. The alien arrogance was their weakness. They assumed humans would flee, panic, or surrender. But humans had something the aliens could not understand: strategy, courage, and the willingness to fight against impossible odds. Zyler's frustration grew with each passing minute. He could feel the inefficiency spreading across his fleet. His ships were not responding as they should. Minor collisions, shield failures, and erratic weapon firings created a ripple of chaos. "They think they can challenge us," Zyler growled. "Destroy them immediately." But it was too late. The humans had already retreated from the immediate perimeter, leaving the alien ships in confusion. The damage was minimal but symbolic. It proved that humans could fight back. It proved that Zyler had underestimated them. Back at Earth's command station, Eric allowed himself a small sigh. This is only the first strike. We haven't won yet. But we've sent a message. We are not helpless. We are not prey. Rhea nodded. They will remember this. But they will come back stronger. Eric's eyes narrowed. Let them. Every attack they make will teach us more. And we will be ready. Humans do not surrender easily. We survive, adapt, and strike when the time is right. As the humans retreated into the shadows of space, the alien fleet reformed slowly, trying to regain order. Zyler's face was dark with rage and disbelief. He had believed that humans were weak, predictable, and fearful. But now he had seen a spark of defiance, a spark that he had ignored at his peril. The first strike had ended, but the war was far from over. Humans had made their presence known. And somewhere in the chaos, Captain Eric Vale prepared the next move, ready to exploit the alien arrogance further. The galaxy watched silently. A war that seemed impossible had begun, not with overwhelming force but with cunning, intelligence, and courage. Humans were showing that even in the face of godlike aliens they could fight, survive, and, if they were clever enough, win. The stage was set for the next confrontation. And one thing was certain: the alien admiral would never forget the day humans struck back. The alien fleet hovered above Earth like a dark cloud, its presence suffocating the planet below. Cities were in emergency lockdown, but the people could hardly imagine what was happening above their heads. On the orbital command station, Captain Eric Vale leaned over the holographic displays, his eyes scanning every movement of the alien fleet. The first human strike had been a success, but he knew that the true battle had only begun. "The aliens are reorganizing," Lieutenant Rhea said, her finger tracing the lines of the fleet on the display. "They're furious. They're stronger now but disoriented. How do we respond?" Eric's jaw tightened. "We don't fight them head-on. That's what they expect. We fight in their minds, in their strategy, in their arrogance. We make them overthink. We make them doubt themselves." Above, Admiral Zyler paced the bridge of his flagship, his glowing eyes narrowing with rage. "The humans, they are cleverer than I anticipated," he hissed. "Every move we make is countered. Every strategy we try, disrupted. Prepare all officers. We will crush them even if it takes days." But Zyler's obsession with humans only played into Eric's hands. The humans had noticed a critical flaw in the alien fleet. Their ships were highly dependent on the flagship's command for coordination. Without it, their movements became chaotic. Eric planned to exploit this weakness carefully, striking small but precise blows that would confuse the enemy. "Commander," Rhea said, "we can't keep hiding forever. They will detect us eventually." Eric's eyes flickered with determination. "That's why we use patience. Every minor strike, Every disruption teaches us something about them. We don't need to destroy their fleet yet. We only need to plant doubt, confusion, and fear. On the surface, scientists worked frantically to support Eric's strategy. Dr. Mira Solon monitored alien communications, trying to decipher patterns in their signals. Their language is complex but predictable, she said. We can anticipate responses to minor attacks, interruptions, and misdirections. Eric nodded. Good. Then we continue the chess game. Let them think they are in control. Let them believe we are afraid. Every move is part of a larger plan. The humans launched their next operation. Small strike teams moved silently among the alien fleet, creating minor system failures and shield fluctuations. One team hacked an alien scout ship, sending false coordinates to the larger vessels. Another team deployed energy pulses that caused temporary malfunctions in weapon systems. In each case, the aliens reacted violently but inefficiently. Their ships collided, their formations broke, and their attacks misfired. Xyler's anger grew, but his pride prevented him from acknowledging the humans' cunning. He assumed these disruptions were minor and temporary, not realizing that they were part of a carefully orchestrated plan. Commander Xyler, one officer said nervously, they are adapting to our moves faster than we expected. We may be underestimating them. Xyler's glowing eyes flashed with fury. Underestimating? No. They are insects. They cannot comprehend our power. Attack all sectors. Show them the futility of resistance. But even as he ordered the assault, small disruptions continued. Humans used the shadows of space, the gaps in alien communication, and their knowledge of enemy psychology to strike again and again. Each move was calculated, each retreat precise. Eric's team was invisible yet deadly, like ghosts haunting a fleet that believed itself invincible. Commander, Rhea said after one successful operation, we've tracked the flagship's energy patterns. The core is showing stress again. It's reacting to our maneuvers. If we continue like this. Eric's eyes gleamed. Yes, that's exactly what we want. They must not realize how close they are to destabilization. Confusion and fear weaken even the strongest enemy. And fear can be more deadly than weapons. Xyler, meanwhile, became obsessed with tracking the human teams. He poured resources into scanning, patrolling, and counterattacking. The entire fleet was on high alert, yet no human ship could be found. Every attempt to trap the humans failed, leaving the aliens frustrated and vulnerable. The human strategy was working perfectly. They were not stronger in firepower, but they were superior in intelligence, coordination, and adaptability. Every small disruption fed into a larger plan that only Eric fully understood. Even within the alien fleet, doubt began to spread. Officers whispered about human cunning, about weaknesses in their own systems that had not been noticed before. Xyler's obsession blinded him to the growing unrest among his commanders. He focused only on revenge, only on the idea that humans must be crushed. And in that obsession he underestimated them further. On Earth, Eric gathered his team for a briefing. We've taught them something important, he said. Humans are not predictable. Humans are not weak. Every move they make against us is uncertain. They think we are afraid, but we are not. We are ready for what comes next. Rhea nodded. The flagship is the key. If we destabilize it even temporarily, the rest of the fleet will fall into chaos. But it's risky. If we fail, the aliens will know exactly what we are doing. Eric smiled faintly. Risk is part of every battle. But remember this, humans survive impossible odds all the time. We adapt. We endure. And when the time is right, we strike where it hurts most. In the shadows of space, human ships prepared for the next phase. The first strike had proven their ingenuity. The minor disruptions had sown doubt, confusion, and fear among the alien ranks. But the real test was coming. The moment when they would challenge the flagship directly, when Admiral Xyler's arrogance would be met with human cunning. The aliens, unaware of the full scale of the plan, continued to patrol aggressively. They did not see the subtle movements of the human strike teams, the careful planning of every pulse, and the shadows that slipped through their sensors. Every attempt to trap the humans failed, increasing Xyler's frustration. And then a new message arrived from the aliens, broadcast to all of Earth. You have made a grave mistake, humans. Your defiance will be your end. Eric leaned back in his chair, calm and resolute. No, he said quietly. The mistake was theirs. They thought we would cower. They thought we would surrender. They thought they could break us with fear alone. But humans, his eyes shone. Humans never give up. As night fell on Earth, the planet's people remained unaware of the invisible war above them. In orbit, every movement, every calculation, and every decision was a battle of wits. Humans were proving that intelligence, strategy, and courage could match, even surpass, the might of an alien empire. The stage was set for the next confrontation. The first strike had shown that humans could fight back, but the real challenge lay ahead. Admiral Xyler would not forgive this defiance. The humans would have to be smarter, faster, and braver than ever before. And Captain Eric Vale was ready. The battle of wits had begun. The alien fleet loomed above Earth, restless and furious. The first strikes by humans had rattled them more than they could admit. Admiral Xyler paced across his flagship, his glowing eyes narrowing at every report from his officers. Chaos still lingered in the fleet. Ships collided, shields faltered, and weapon systems misfired. Every time Xyler tried to restore order, the humans countered in ways he had never expected. "They are bold and cunning," one officer admitted nervously. "Our systems, we cannot predict their moves fully." Xyler's armor shimmered with anger. "Bold? They are insects. We will crush them soon. Deploy all forces to hunt the human strike teams." But even as he issued commands, Captain Eric Vale and his team on Earth were preparing something far greater than mere sabotage. The humans were ready to reveal a secret that had been hidden for centuries, an ancient AI-controlled battle station, buried on the dark side of a moon, built during humanity's golden age of space engineering. This station, Dr. Mira Solon explained to Eric, was designed for defense against large-scale attacks. Its systems are fully autonomous, capable of predicting enemy moves, and it has weaponry that can rival small fleets. The problem is, it's been dormant for hundreds of years. Eric's eyes glimmered with determination. "Dormant or not, it's the edge we need. Xyler thinks he is untouchable. We'll show him otherwise." The operation to awaken the station was delicate. Hidden human ships carried AI activation codes through shadowed space corridors, avoiding alien patrols. Every second was tense. One wrong move, one detected transmission, and Xyler's fleet would descend immediately, crushing the humans before the station could awaken. Lieutenant Ria's hands flew over the controls as she input the final commands. "This is it, Captain. We activate the station now." Eric nodded. "Yes. And once it's online, the battle changes entirely. They won't see it coming." Far above, Xyler's fleet continued its chaotic patrols. He had ordered a complete search for human forces, but the stealth ships had vanished into the darkness. The humans were ghosts slipping past every sensor. And then a strange energy ripple spread across the moon's surface, a signal that no alien sensor had ever detected. The AI awakened. Its systems hummed with life, energy flowing through circuits that had been silent for centuries. Slowly, the station's sensors scanned the alien fleet, calculating every ship's strength, every weapon's timing, and every possible weakness. "This is incredible," Dr. Solon whispered. "The AI is learning at an exponential rate. It predicts movements before they happen. It's thinking." Eric smiled. "That's exactly what we need. Humans may be limited in numbers, but we have intelligence, strategy, and ingenuity. The AI multiplies that advantage 1,000 times." On the alien flagship, Xyler sensed a shift in energy patterns. His sensors were confused by strange interference across the fleet. "What is happening?" he demanded. "Scan every system. Find the source." But the humans were ready. The battle station unleashed precise energy pulses that disrupted shields, scrambled weapons, and created confusion among the alien ranks. Small strike teams coordinated with the AI, hitting the enemy at weak points while avoiding detection. Chaos spread quickly. Ships fired at nothing, shields collapsed unexpectedly, and communication links failed. The aliens had never faced an opponent who could predict their every move, adapt instantly, and strike with surgical precision. Xyler's anger boiled. "They cannot possess such technology. This is impossible." "Yes, Commander," an officer admitted. "The humans, they are more dangerous than we anticipated. Their coordination is beyond our understanding." Xyler's glowing eyes blazed with fury. "No. Impossible. Prepare the flagship for direct engagement. Destroy that station at all costs." The humans anticipated this move. Using stealth and clever maneuvers, they positioned their ships to avoid direct confrontation, letting the AI-controlled station take the brunt of the assault. The flagship fired its massive cannons, but the AI's predictive calculations allowed it to dodge, counter, and strike back with incredible precision. Energy beams lanced through space and alien ships began to fall one by one. The flagship's core fluctuated, showing stress that humans had observed for weeks. Every hit and miss fed into the AI's calculations, allowing humans to exploit weaknesses that Xyler had never revealed. Rhea's voice trembled with excitement and tension. "Captain, the flagship's shields are failing. If we continue like this." Eric nodded. "Then the tide of the battle will shift completely. But we must stay careful. One mistake and they'll retaliate fiercely. The human's edge is intelligence, not numbers." Back on the alien flagship, Xyler's pride and arrogance blinded him to reality. He believed that a single strike from his flagship could crush the humans instantly. But the combination of human ingenuity and the AI-controlled station proved otherwise. Each calculated strike, each prediction, and each adaptation chipped away at his confidence. And then the moment of suspense arrived. A massive energy pulse from the station targeted the flagship's energy core directly. The core flickered, pulsed, and destabilized. Energy surges spread through the alien ship, shields collapsed temporarily, and the fleet trembled in disarray. Xyler's eyes widened. "No, this cannot be happening." "Captain," Rhea said, her voice tense, "it's working. The flagship, it's vulnerable. If we push now, we can cripple it entirely." Eric's mind raced. "Yes, but carefully. We cannot destroy it yet. We need to teach them a lesson they will never forget. Show them that humans are not to be underestimated." The humans struck again, precise and deadly. Each attack was calculated to destabilize, confuse, and scare the alien forces. Ships that had once moved in perfect formation now collided, fired at nothing, and suffered system failures. The AI's predictive calculations allowed human strike teams to avoid every counterattack, turning the aliens' own strength against them. Xyler's fury reached its peak. His pride was shattered, his fleet in chaos, and yet he could not understand the true source of human power. "This is impossible," he screamed. "Humans, they should be weak. They should be easy prey." But humans were not prey. They were clever, brave, and relentless. They adapted to every situation, used intelligence over brute force, and now wielded a hidden power that Xyler had never imagined. As night fell on Earth, the humans watched from the shadows of orbit. Their first strike had evolved into something far greater. The AI-controlled station, combined with stealth teams and human intelligence, had turned the tide. Xyler's arrogance had become his weakness. And for the first time humans could see a path to victory. Eric leaned back, his eyes calm but sharp. "The hidden power is awake," he said softly. "Now the real war begins." Above, the alien fleet reeled. Xyler's final message to his officers was one of disbelief and fury. "You have made a grave mistake, underestimating humanity." And humanity had just begun to prove him wrong. The alien fleet had never felt fear before. They had conquered countless worlds, destroyed civilizations, and assumed that no species could challenge their might. Yet now they hovered above Earth, shaken, confused, and on the edge of panic. Admiral Xyler's arrogance, once absolute, had become his greatest weakness. The humans had shown ingenuity, patience, and courage, and their hidden power, the AI-controlled station, had changed the course of the battle. Captain Eric Vale stood in Earth's orbital command station, his eyes fixed on the displays showing the alien fleet. The first strikes had been successful. The AI had destabilized shields, disrupted weapons, and created confusion. But Eric knew the war was not over. The final phase had to be decisive, precise, and unforgettable. "Commander," Lieutenant Rhea said, her voice tight with tension, "the flagship's core is unstable. If we push now, we could cripple the fleet completely." Eric's jaw tightened. "Yes, but this is the moment we must be smart. We need to strike not only with power but with intelligence. Humanity's victory is not brute force, it's strategy." On the alien flagship, Xyler's eyes glowed with fury. Reports of system failures, shield collapses, and fleet chaos filled the bridge. His pride burned like fire. He had underestimated the humans, and now they were about to teach him a lesson he would never forget. "Activate all countermeasures." Xyler roared. "Destroy the humans before they finish us." But it was too late. The AI-controlled station had already calculated every possible response. Human strike teams, moving like shadows among the fleet, coordinated with precision. They targeted weak points, exploited gaps in communication, and avoided every counterattack. The first pulse struck the flagship's core directly. Energy surged violently through the alien vessel. Shields flickered, weapon systems misfired, and structural stress spread through the ship. Xyler's massive form tensed as alarms blared across the bridge. "This is impossible," he shouted. "Humans, they cannot possess such power." But humans were not relying on raw power alone. They had learned from every move the aliens had made. Every misfire, every weak shield, every overconfidence had been noted, analyzed, and turned against the enemy. Their strategy was flawless. "Captain," Rhea said, pointing at the displays, "the fleet is breaking apart. Smaller ships are colliding, weapons are failing, and the flagship's shields are near collapse." Eric allowed a faint smile. "Good. That is exactly what we wanted. But now, we finish this." Human teams launched the final coordinated strike. Stealth ships moved in, delivering precise energy pulses to the flagship's core, while the AI directed orbital weapons at the supporting alien vessels. The fleet trembled. Confusion, fear, and chaos spread among the alien forces. They had never faced an enemy who could anticipate their moves, adapt instantly, and strike with such precision. On the flagship, Xyler's rage boiled over. He had believed humans were weak, easily frightened, and predictable. But their intelligence, courage, and hidden power had shattered his expectations. "This cannot be," he shouted, his voice echoing through the command deck. "We are gods of war. They are insignificant." Yet insignificance was exactly what they had turned into strength. The flagship's core flickered violently, its energy output unstable. Smaller alien ships were incapacitated, drifting helplessly in space. Xyler realized too late that humans had used their arrogance against them. "Captain," Rhea said, her voice trembling with excitement, "the flagship is exposed. One more strike and it's done." Eric nodded. "Prepare the final pulse. This will show Xyler that humans are not to be underestimated. Humanity survives, adapts, and strikes when necessary." The final energy pulse surged from the AI-controlled station, hitting the flagship's core with unmatched precision. The ship shook violently as its energy systems collapsed. Shields failed, weapons went offline, and structural integrity began to crumble. In one final, thunderous pulse, the alien flagship erupted in controlled explosions, sending shockwaves through the remaining fleet. Smaller ships were thrown into chaos, some destroyed, others retreating in confusion. Xyler roared in fury and disbelief. He had faced countless battles, yet none had humbled him like this. He stared at the screens showing the destruction around him, realization dawning too late. Humans had outsmarted him. They had used intelligence, courage, and strategy, things he had dismissed as weaknesses. "Humans," Xyler whispered, his voice filled with rage and disbelief. "You have made a huge mistake." On Earth, people watched the night sky. Satellites reported strange energy surges, and the alien fleet was retreating in disarray. Humanity had survived the impossible. They had not only defended their home but had delivered a decisive lesson to a species that had assumed they were weak. Eric turned to Rhea and his team. "We did it," he said quietly. "But remember, the fight is never over. Today we won because we were smart, united, and brave. Tomorrow, we must remain vigilant." Rhea smiled, relief and pride shining in her eyes. "We showed them, Captain. We proved humans are not to be underestimated." Above, the remnants of the alien fleet retreated into the darkness of space. Xyler's arrogance had been shattered, his pride humiliated, and his forces crippled. Humanity had not relied on overwhelming numbers or impossible technology, they had relied on courage, intelligence, and clever strategy. They had turned the impossible into reality. And in that moment humanity realized something profound. They were not weak. They were survivors. They were fighters. They were capable of standing against forces that seemed godlike. Captain Eric Vale looked out at the stars, knowing that this was only the beginning. Humanity had survived the first encounter, but the galaxy was vast, and the challenges ahead would be many. Yet for the first time in history humans knew their true strength. The final message from Admiral Xyler still echoed in communications channels across the surviving alien fleet. "You have made a huge mistake. Never underestimate humans." And humanity had heard it loud and clear. The war had begun with fear, chaos, and uncertainty. It had ended with courage, intelligence, and a message that would resonate across the stars. Humans were not to be underestimated. The unexpected war was over, for now, but the legend of Captain Eric Vale, the AI-controlled station, and humanity's clever defiance would live on, inspiring generations to come. The galaxy had seen the strength of humanity, and it would never forget it.